from that, residents of Weja, Bawe, Aplaku and its environs who've been experiencing mild earth tremors for the past 3 days say they are uncertain what to expect in the coming days. The tremor caused panic and sent residents running from their rooms fearing their buildings will collapse. Kwesi Paco Wilson has more.
Residents of Weja, Bawe, Aplaku, McCarthy Hill and its environs this dawn experienced an earth tremor of unknown magnitude. Now, according to them, the tremor struck around between 3 and 5 a.m. It got people rushing out from their homes, fearing that the tremor probably could trigger an earthquake and the buildings might even collapse on them. They say that the vibration has put fear in them because they don't know whether it's going to recap or perhaps it's just a precursor to an earthquake.
This morning, we were in the house when we felt the building was shaking. It happened about 2 times. The first one went, then in about a few minutes time, then another one passed again. The building shook and we were all running away. Actually, we don't know what can happen next if in case it happens again.
So you say you are scared?
Yeah.
And people started screaming outside. I heard people screaming outside. So before my wife told me that it was an earthquake or something like that. So we came out to verify.
Would you say that those living around here are living in a state of fear?
Yes, I can say that because this place is quite an earthquake zone, which we all know around the Weja sector and along the seaside.
Well, although they admit that this is not the first time this is happening within their environs, they are, however, unwilling to relocate.
Having an investment like this, and then if you are relocating, who is going to relocate you? That's the issue. Where are they sending you to? This is your property. Where are they sending you to? That's another issue.
For the moment of time, I wouldn't say I will consider relocating, but I can say currently it is coming up. But if it's really going to continue like this, honestly, I wouldn't hold my family to stay in such an area like this.
For joining us, I am Kwesi Paco Wilson.
Michael Lee, Kwesi Paco Wilson with that report there. But I've been joined by Mr. Nicholas Opoku. He's a seismologist at the Department of Earth Science, University of Ghana. Good morning, sir. Thanks for your time. Hello, sir.
Hello, yeah.
Yes, good morning. Thanks for joining the program.
Yes, good morning.
Briefly help us understand in scientific terms what exactly happened within the past 3 days in these areas we are reporting from.
Yes, we also have heard it in a report that there's an earthquake in some parts of Greater Accra, Weja, and areas there. So we are at the moment assessing the situation on the ground. So far, we've not heard or seen any damage yet. But our advice is that earthquake is still difficult for us to predict. We are still not very sure whether this is the main shock has come or this is just a foreshock. Or sometimes you can have a foreshock before the main shock comes. Sometimes it could be that this is the main shock, it has a lower magnitude. So what our advice is that people should stay in the open for now until we are sure that there isn't going to be any major shock again, which might probably cause damage and destroy lives.
What do you mean? What do you mean by stay in the open? Could you explain that further, please?
Yes, what I'm trying to say is that earthquake is only dangerous if structures collapse on you. Right. So if you can stay a bit far from where we have buildings or any structure, just to be sure that a major or a main shock may not come to collapse any structure. For a time being, until we are sure that the situation there has normalized and that there's not going to be any shock again, which might
Okay, Mr. Opoku, you've mentioned that earthquakes are quite difficult to predict. But first,
Yes.
let's try and establish the difference between an earth tremor and an earthquake.
Please, the line is not clear, so I'm still driving, so let me park somewhere and see if I can hear you.
All right, sorry about that. We'll try and establish a better line there. But Mr. Nicholas Opoku is a seismologist, and he's just been given some advice to residents who live in areas where a tremor was felt the past 3 days. His advice is that you stay in the open. I was just trying to understand the difference between an earth tremor and earthquake, and also to get more understanding on what exactly is causing this. Well, I hear he's ready now. Thanks for holding on, Mr. Opoku. Briefly, I was asking, many have described this as a tremor. Indeed, what's the difference between an earth tremor and an earthquake?
Yes, earthquake, earth tremor. Well, the media would always want to use earth tremor to represent earthquakes of smaller magnitude, which we also refer as micro earthquakes. That's an earthquake of smaller magnitude. And these earthquakes, the magnitudes normally range from 4 downwards. Because earthquake up to magnitude 3 is not normally felt. If an earthquake reaches magnitude 4 onwards, you feel it. So this one is magnitude 4, can be, in media terms, you can refer to it as a tremor. But in seismological or earthquake, those who deal with earthquakes, we normally refer to it as a micro earthquake.
All right, so let's talk about the factors that influence some of these natural occurrences.
Come again, please.
I'm asking about factors that influence some of these natural occurrences.
What are the factors that influence?
Exactly, earthquakes or tremors or micro earthquakes, as you've just educated us.
Yeah, for earthquake to occur, earthquake cannot occur if there is no fault on the ground. Earthquake occurs in a fault zone, and geological survey, we have mapped from geological and tectonic point of view, we have mapped the from Nyanyano all the way through the Akwape mountain range, that's Weja, Enya, through Aburi, and even extends towards Ho and Togo. That stretch of mountain range has been mapped out as a fault zone. So once it's an fault zone, and we are still monitoring and getting recording smaller earthquakes around it, it means that the fault is still active. And if a fault is active, it means that it's capable of erupting again. So we have always been advising that people living along these fault zones have to be very, very, very careful, especially those on the mountainous regions. Because when the ground shifts, these mountains are not they are not massive rocks. They are highly jointed and fractured, so you can easily have a landslide or rock slide along it. And buildings founded on these mountains can easily be brought down when there's an earthquake. Even if the magnitude is not very big, and there's a smaller, the mountains can easily collapse. And if the mountain is brought down, your building founded on them will also end up collapsing. So we have been advising that people building within these fault zones under normal circumstances should get the proper or seek the proper geotechnical advice before building in those areas. But Accra, we have a situation whereby people are built in all these areas, so that is where our worry is. And
should it be the case that we should not be allowing them to build there in the first place?
Yes, so land use planning is what the seismologists we are doing. So when we are map out our fault zones, is an important information for land use planners to incorporate it into their normal land use planning so that they can decide. And we, the seismologists, we can only define the level of the hazard that exists in a particular area. But then it is up to the engineer to decide whether they can have an engineering solution to the level of the hazard that we have described. So whilst we map out the 4 zones and give the level of the hazard to be expected in those areas, it is up to the engineer to decide whether we can have an engineering solution towards it. So we always advise that people who build around these areas to seek professional advice before putting up their structures.
Thank you very much for your time. Nicholas Opoku is a seismologist at the University of Ghana, educating us. So hopefully you've gotten some education if you're someone who lives in any of these areas that experience a micro earthquake in the past 3 days, or you know anybody living there, you can pass on the information to them. We'll take a quick breather now. We'll be back here on News Desk with more. Do stay.